Jaslyn Forbes, who has had quite the senior season to remember. This includes a signature win in the Northport Invitational. Her time in the event's 5K was 17 minutes and 2 seconds. That is the best in the state. Forbes caught up with Wing Sports reporter Zach Oliveri about how it feels to dominate the sport she loves so much.
No words could describe it. From being a soccer player in 9th grade to just where I am today, had no idea that this is how my future would look, but I'm very blessed to be here. I always know that there's someone better out there and everyone's working for the same goal that I have, so it just keeps my drive going and just keeps me wanting to be better.
Forbes told Zach she's being recruited by D1 programs to continue running cross country.
I mean, she's clearly got the drive.
I know. She's motivated to do it. That's half the battle, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Kidding. We'll be right back after the break with a final look at weather.
Time now 10:59. Let's take a look at your 7 and 10-day forecasts. 84 degrees this afternoon, 86 tomorrow, 85 on Sunday. Those temperatures the next couple of days are running above normal, and we have more humidity as well. That's going to lead to some patchy fog for your Saturday and Sunday times. Golfers, early morning tee times. Some of that fog may be a problem the next couple of days, so keep that in mind. I'm saying that out loud to myself as well as I have a tea time tomorrow morning. And then as we head towards next week, it's going to be quite cold. 46 Tuesday morning, 67 on Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, we have quite the drop in temperatures. I was just talking to the girls during the break, and yeah, Liz Claire, I said I felt like it's like new to me that the 40s are back just because of not being impacted by a storm this past season. But we are here. The 40s are arriving next week.
We're all very thankful.
I'm very happy about that, yes. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us here on Wink. We'll see you on Wink News at noon.
This is Wink Tracks the Tropics, powered by the Weather Authority.
When the tropics are active and timing is everything, the Weather Authority is keeping you prepared.
The latest update did come in from the National Hurricane Center. Helene moving north-northeast. Winds have increased up to 90 miles per hour.
Keeping you informed.
It's now 170 miles northwest of us, and as we had mentioned, this is a major Cat 4 hurricane. This is going to have major landfall implications.
Southwest Florida has seen its fair share of storms in the past few years.
We are leaving immediately after this because it is not safe. You're starting to see some of these debris, sticks flying up and out, and it's one of the reasons why Sanibel is evacuated. It clearly is not safe out here.
But our slice of paradise has bounced back in ways we'd never expected.
It's tough.
We had each other, and that's a good thing.
I wouldn't have made it without Marianne. We're going to make it. We're going to make it.
Wink News has been there with you every step of the way. That won't change.
Yes, we avoid the worst part of the storm, but the wind field's growing and the pressures are deepening. We're going to feel more of that influence on the back end with the surge.
From forecast cones to safety tips, the Weather Authority team has you covered. You're watching Wink Tracks the Tropics.
Happy Friday. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for Wink Tracks the Tropics here at 11. I'm Wink News Weather Authority meteorologist Oceana Hayden, and we don't have a lot to cover in the tropics, but we do have plenty to talk about, don't you worry. I want to bring in my panel, which is actually just one. It's our meteorologist, Zach Malak. This has kind of become a Friday tradition to just be the two of us.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's like the few in favorite on Friday. Come on, how can we not just hold down the fort on Friday while the team gets some much rest and relaxation?
Yes.
Speaking of the team, I did see that meteorologist Josh Green did post a picture from the driving range at Eastwood this morning. So
wow, so he listened to you.
Some individuals, he said, where should I go to hit the driving range? I told him Eastwood, which is on the, of course, east side of Fort Myers, and he posted a picture. I hope he's enjoying because, like you mentioned, few of us holding down the fort, but there's still a lot to talk about. Not only, of course, what's currently quiet in the tropics, but the biggest story of what's coming next week.
Exactly. And I stepped outside around 9 and I wasn't too impressed as far as the humidity. I was hoping we were going to be a little wrong about that, but it's definitely a little sticky out there. It's kind of feeling like summer. I was telling my friends this weekend, we're going on the boat tomorrow. I was like, it's going to feel like summer. So we're going to get into
tomorrow.
I know. Yeah. I'm so excited. That's why I did my boat forecast this morning. I was like, I'm doing that for myself and for, everybody in Southwest Florida loves to boat, I think. So we're going to talk a little bit about this weekend, cold fronts. We're going to do a little bit of weather watcher stuff. And then I'm going to start off with a quick look in the tropics, of course, just to, stay true to the name.
Of course, why not? Why not?
Yeah, so let's pop up the graphics. This is my favorite graphic ever, I think. It's the days left in hurricane season. We've got 23 days left. It officially ends on November 30th, so, the countdown is always on, but now that we are getting close to the end, I think we're all pretty much ready for that. Now, I want to move over to our tropical outlook because this is also something that's pretty exciting. There is no tropical development expected in the next 7 days, so something I'm very excited about here
earlier, according to the National Hurricane Center, they're really not watching for anything in the next 7 days, which is great. And not only are they not watching anything, but the Climate Prediction Center. This is kind of boring if you were hoping to see maybe something that wasn't going to, affect us, but something out there. There's not. No tropical system development expected over the next 2 weeks. We'll get another extended tropical outlook for the rest of hurricane season on next Tuesday afternoon. So tune in next week on Wednesday at 11 a.m. That's when we'll see if there's anything to close out the season that the Climate Prediction Center thinks. But right now, I mean, wow. I love to see this. This is where we typically would see stuff. Typical tropical frequency in November. Notice it is all in the yellow. I've mentioned this before. We mention it every time. It is in the yellow because it's not as likely to develop. If they were to, this would be the locations. And it's kind of what the Climate Prediction Center was thinking last week, or it might have even been 2 weeks ago at this point. Last week they were thinking maybe something in the Western Caribbean could develop, but the GFS was really the only model that was on that. European and the Google AI were really not in on that. So happy to report nothing. We're not really watching anything at all. Of course, there's still more season to be had, 23 days left, so we'll see. Here's a look at what we've had so far, 13 storms. We've had 5 hurricanes, and out of those 5 hurricanes, 4 of them became major. We actually were pretty close to the record in terms of the amount of Cat 5s we had. We had 3. It's the second most in one season, and those were Aaron, Umberto, Melissa. We saw a lot of rapid intensification this week, or this season so far, so, definitely a season to remember in terms of kind of the intensity of these storms, but the good news is we haven't seen any impacts here in Southwest Florida. But unfortunately, Jamaica can't say the same. We did see Hurricane Melissa really make landfall there as a strong Category 5. It then made landfall again in Cuba. So just kind of a recap there. Nestor would be the next name, as you could probably guess if we want to pull up Zach. They're probably not going to see Nestor as far as what the Climate Prediction Center is saying, as far as what the National Hurricane Center is saying. There's really not too many signs of Nestor in the next few weeks, I would say.
Yeah, I don't see that either. I know there's a few meteorologists across the state of Florida that still continue to watch the far southwestern Caribbean right now because that's where the tropical moisture is sitting at. Some models still trying to point a little bit of spin, but that spin is not going to be correlated to anything tropically at all. So that's why I think the Climate Prediction Center, Oceana, basically dropped that watch area for this week and for next week, because I think it was last Tuesday they had the outlook come out about, I guess a week and a half ago, had the outlook come out that it had a low chance of some spin in the far western Caribbean. But then they since dropped that completely for the rest of the month, which means there's going to be just a lot of moisture hanging out in the Caribbean, but nothing that could be developing tropically. And that's the good news. I mean, when we talk about the good news of the tropics, we're talking about the lack of anything that could be developing anytime soon, and that's because of all the cold fronts that we have moving in across the state of Florida. We've seen that the past month, we've seen it the past 4 to 5 weeks, and we are seeing that as well as we head into next week. But right now, as you mentioned, I do not see Nestor popping up anytime soon, just because it seems like this is going to be a rather quiet stretch to end the Atlantic hurricane season. And I think that's going to be good news, as, like you said, we almost saw the record amount of Category 5s with having 3. And I think the 4 we had was back 2005 was the year I think we had those historic amount of Category 5. So it's nice to see the season behaving in this way. Of course, we did have one area dramatically impacted, like you mentioned, from Melissa. But beyond that, it is great to see the lack of impact from all of those storms, with seeing 13 named storms so far this season.
Oh yeah, I love to see it. I mean, I'm glad that we're gonna have a quiet stretch. Sometimes we've had seasons where, in terms of like Melissa and Helene, we had 2 back-to-back that impacted similar areas. So it's nice to see that Jamaica, they're pretty much in the clear right now in terms of being able to clean up in peace and, and kind of rebuild and get back together. I mean, I've seen some really sad content from over there. So we know it only takes one storm. And, Melissa was that for Jamaica. And it's definitely a shame, but hopefully that we can end the rest of the season nice
Yeah,
and
and
quiet.
speaking of Jamaica real quick, there are some good resources online right now to kind of check out what is going on in Jamaica. The National Weather Service and National Hurricane Center actually have these planes that are outfitted with cameras that could better scope out where the damage was, where the worst of the damage was. They did the same thing for us here after Ian. Remember the maps that kind of helped outlook exactly what that damage looked like, pinpointing what the earth looked like from satellite before and after the storm. Those are airplanes that are passing over individual areas and capturing the images to help do research, magnifying the strength of those hurricanes when they move on shore. Not only used for a good purpose to review for us in just layman's terms, just to look and see how the landscape looks now after Melissa, but also it's used for analysis, and it's used for historical purposes to help better forecast issues and problems as well in future storms. So the same thing that we had done with our area during Ian, they are doing down in Jamaica right now. And I think some of that imagery already being posted to the National Hurricane Center website. If you're interested in reviewing that, I have seen some of those resources being posted so far beyond the actual pictures. So it's not AI stuff, it's pure pictures coming from airplanes that are gathering the pictures, trying to put the coastline back together in terms of what it actually looks like right now. So kind of eerie, but also kind of cool that we have that technology to basically remap what the island looks like now.
Yeah, that's so true. You could definitely see a scar on Jamaica of where that storm made landfall. And we also have links on Wink. We have, I think it's called Links Mentioned on Wink on our website for donation and relief stuff. So if you're interested in that, I do want to remind everyone, Wink Tracks the Tropics is an interactive platform. So if you've got any thoughts, if you've got any comments, questions about anything weather related, we've got you covered, or maybe how you plan on spending, how you bundle up for the cold.
Yeah, I see our YouTube audience right now is a little on the quiet side, but I see that people are watching. So if you do want to tune in, maybe you'll be more excited when we talk about the cold front next week.
Okay, well first, I want to do a Weather Watcher roundup.
Okay,
and I think everyone is, you're going to see a trend here when I go through this of what our favorite photos were this week. It was kind of quiet weather-wise, but we did have something really awesome, and it was our super moon, our beaver moon. I thought that was a really cute nickname for it. I love that they give them nicknames. I mean, we have the cold super moon in December. We have the wolf, I think, in January. And then we had the harvest, which is very on brand for October. So here's the beaver moon. This was on, I think this picture was taken the night before it peaked. So it peaked at 8:19 a.m., I want to say, on Wednesday. And this is from Kenneth, one of our awesome weather watchers from Kelly Greens in Fort Myers. I mean, just an incredible shot here. And I mean, you could see this moon bright as can be. And on Wednesday, I think it was a little more cloudy. Couldn't see it just as good, but we still have some more awesome pictures of it. Here's one from Paul B. in Cape Coral. I love this one. This one feels like it could be like this was from this morning?
Yeah, it was from this morning because you could kind of see the moon already becoming less full.
Yeah.
And you could kind of see that on that southern side. So just a cool shot from Paul, and I think it was from the Northwest Cape when he took that this morning. It did show still some clouds, less cloud cover this morning, but yeah, I mean, I think we're just more fascinated with the moon just because of how bright it is. We do have our super moons this time of year from October to November, December, and January. These 4 months, we have our super moons. That is what is increasing the tides on the east coast of the state. It's what we call the king tides. It is a direct correlation of the moon's distance from the earth. The moon reaches perigee, which is its closest point to the earth around this time of year. I think it's why the November moon, full moon, the November super moon, that is, the second of those four, is the closest and brightest as well. And I think that's why we have so many Wink Weather Watcher photos on it, just because it was so bright. I mean, Oceana, we had cameras that I show all the morning long on Wink News this morning that usually are black and white, so I don't show them that often, and they were in color because of how bright that moon was Tuesday, Wednesday, and yesterday.
I had a lot of comments on my Facebook post about the moon saying that like they woke up before the sunrise like we do.
Because of how bright
and it was so bright in their house, and I was like, it's kind of eerie to like when that happens, but it's so neat. And honestly, I took a cool picture of it. I want to say it was Wednesday night when there was a little more clouds in the sky, and it kind of looked cool then too, it kind of looked like it was hiding. We've got another great picture. This was also from this morning.
Oh, yeah.
You can barely
like that
see
one.
it there,
Yeah.
but it's that little, it's perfect circle over there. You know, as he said, it's not exactly a full moon at this point, but this is from Joanne, one of our other Wink weather watchers. She's from Fort Myers. Look at this picture. I showed this morning. It looks like a painting. I mean, those clouds.
Oh, it does.
I love this photo. And I also love when I can see the moon in the daytime. I don't know why it's so cool to me whenever we can see that.
It's so bright too because it's right around sunrise. It looks like it was just after sunrise too from Joanne. But it's always so neat because I will, of course, when we get closer and closer to full moons, I will check the moonrise, moonset times. And like on Tuesday, the moonset was like at 5:40 in the morning, and then on Wednesday it was at 6:41. I remember that distinctly because that was the fullest the moon was. And then now it's like at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's just kind of cool to see, you know, how much longer the moon does linger, you know, past moonset, past sunrise, I should say, as opposed to when the moon is at its fullest. I guess that's why it's at its fullest. Sometimes I'm always trying to analyze that myself. Always kind of cool. It still blows my mind that we figured out all this moonset, moonrise, full moon, new moon, you know, back hundreds of years ago. I mean, that's back when we, I think, had less, you know, eyes on our phones and more eyes on the sky. Just kind of a cool thing there.
I know, and honestly, I love that. I know we talked about it before. We're kind of alone on this, but the time change, I like it because I had the chance to see the super moon at night. I had the chance to see sunsets now. I mean, sometimes I would stay up a little later and I would see the sunset, but most of the time I couldn't when the sunset originally during the summer at like 7:45, even 8 o'clock, 8:15. So I'm glad to see the sunsets here. I want to go to one more Weather Watcher photo. This was early in the morning, I want to say yesterday, from Tom. This was at Clam Pass. I grew up going to Clam Pass Park. I absolutely love this beach. I haven't been there in a year or two, but I'm due to go back. But look at all of the birds. I have an obsession with birds. People might have found that out by now. I think they're so cute. Look at them all. And then you can see the gloomy sky we had yesterday. You know, it was quite cloudy. I know a lot of people were calling it gloomy, but hey, I think we've been spoiled. We've had some beautiful, gorgeous days in the last 2 weeks. So the one day that it was cloudy, everybody's like, oh, it's so gloomy out there. I was like,
I liked it.
I liked it too.
I liked it.
I
have to share, you know, because we have time. It's just you and I, so we have a captive audience of ourselves right now.
Yes.
I grew up going to Clam Pass as well. My grandparents always had a home in Naples when I was growing up in Chicago. And I got pictures of my brothers and I with our boogie boards back at Clam Pass back in like the 90s, late 90s. And you know, it's so funny looking at that because of you know, how fast the water would move in and out. So you're supposed to go to Clam Pass, you're supposed to jump on the boogie boards, and then you kind of ride the tide in, and then jump off, come back, walk on the beach, do it again, over and over again. Well, back in the day, my younger brother didn't get the idea of hopping off the boogie board, unfortunately, and he went all the way back towards the back bay, Oceana, and my grandpa went swimming after him. He got picked up by a boat with a couple of fishermen, so I'm just saying, it's hysterical that every time I think of Clam Pass, I think of this memory of myself, my two brothers, being there as a kid, and you know, it's so cool that it's filled in so many times from all the hurricanes, and I can't remember how many news stories we've had in the early 2000s of, looks like Naples is spending more money to reopen Clam Pass again, and it is important. It's really impactful for the mangroves in the back there, in that back bay near Naples Grand Hotel, and Naples Grand Resort, I should say. So you mentioned Clam Pass. I had to mention there is definitely a fond place in my heart for that place too. And I think it's going through the renourishment right now. So it should be back to good beach going in the next few weeks, if not even a month.
Yeah, it was always one of our biggest beaches wide-wise in Naples, I always noticed. And they used to have a rope swing when I was in middle school, and we would all run out there. And there's also like a cool walking path in the back that sometimes when there's not as much rain, you can kind of walk through it, and there's a bunch of birds. It was a little stinky, you know, like when the sand like gets that weird smell. But I loved to go back there, and me and my friends would walk around, take pictures. It was such a big memory for me too. And Clam Pass is awesome. I love this picture from Tom. Our weather watchers are always great. We've gotten so many pictures every morning. I mean, there's so many to choose from. We really appreciate it, and I love the pictures that we get from our sunsets, sunrises.
Ken does a good job. Kenneth does a good job. I mean, Tom sends one. There's so many that send them almost religiously each and every morning, and at different parts of the morning. that sometimes I'm sure our viewers are like, gosh, I just saw it's the same person, but it's a different photo. Like,
it is.
So,
No, they're
and,
the
you know,
best.
Ken has a great backyard. It's Stony Brook on the golf course there in Estero.
Yes,
so
yes.
always capture some good shots there with the water and the clouds and a perfect view of the landscape. So always great. It helps us. You know, we have satellite. We have so many cameras across town, but it just helps to be relatable with what the cloud cover actually looks like. And, you know, the Wink Weather Watcher photo is not only fun to look at, like the birds with the pelicans and the sandpipers right there, but just kind of a cool view.
Yeah, and it's going to become super important, especially as we go into spring. You know, that's when our best chances to see severe weather and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not just going to be all sunshine and rainbows always, but they do come in handy, like you said. So I love that you brought that up. So let's switch gears into what we are expecting this weekend. We're going to be quite hot. I like this graphic a lot. You showed it earlier this week. Look at their temperatures. They're going to be about 3 to 4 degrees above normal Saturday, Sunday, and even a little bit on Monday morning. I would say they're actually going to be a little cooler Monday afternoon. But that cold front sweeps through Monday into Tuesday. I mean, this is insane. I love this graphic, but I think it's actually off a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was updated yesterday, unfortunately.
Yeah. No,
I don't think
I was just watching
today.
this and I was like, wait.
It's such a cool graphic. Yeah, we do have to plug and play just so everyone who's watching too. It's amazing how many graphics we have that get to update manually, how many of them we get to plug and play ourselves. I made this graphic, I think, over a year ago, the nuts and bolts of the graphic, and it just helps really discern above average, below average, the strength of fronts when they move in. And like Oceana is saying, I mean, it's going to be warmer than normal today, tomorrow through Sunday, and then Monday comes and it's like the temperatures plummet, especially from Sunday into Monday, and then Monday into Tuesday. I think we go from 85 to 84 degrees Sunday afternoon to 46 Tuesday morning. I cannot recall. I mean, I've been down here in Southwest Florida since 2016. I cannot recall a temperature swing like that. We're talking 40 degrees or so within 36 hours. You know, that's crazy.
No, it is crazy. So think of this. If you see Monday, that should be Tuesday. Monday, we're going to have temperatures 7 degrees below where they should be. And I mean, Tuesday, we've been talking about Tuesday, but it's true. It is going to be a blast of cold air. I actually think that you'll see this in this graphic here. So we're going to have a warm, kind of summer-like weekend. And like you said, there's a dramatic drop in temperatures Tuesday. Cold, cold air. And it's not just us. So let's look at our national graphic here. Look at all of those freezing temperatures on Monday. All the pink, those are temperatures below freezing, so that's a lot of the United States. And then the outline of it in blue is the frost. And then it's actually going to shift eastward as we go into Tuesday when that front really sweeps through the rest of the state. I mean, that's a lot of folks below freezing on Tuesday in, I think it's still, I would say, early November.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive. I know we haven't seen this in Southwest Florida. You gave a year earlier, I think.
Yeah, it was the earliest the 40s have arrived in Southwest Florida since 2014. I mean, last year we had the 40s arrive in late November. I did some research on average. Our first mornings in the 40s come our way in early December, December 1st to December 2nd. That's the average between 2000 and 2025 this year. But, you know, many places in the southeast, this is an important point to mention, have not dropped below freezing yet. I mean, this is a hard freeze coming to most of the country, and they issue those freeze warnings when they get the first hard freeze of the season, primarily for farmers. It really denotes the end of the planting season, the growing season, as well as even the harvesting season. So it's just one of those things that I think I cannot wait to come into work Monday morning, find the map that has the freeze warnings on it, because I think we're going to have almost the entire central and eastern half of the country in freeze warnings for the first time, extending, as you can tell, all the way down to the panhandle of Florida.
Yes.
Just because we've seen cold fronts, but we haven't seen a front this strong to impact this many communities as of yet. And this, I think, is going to be the big talker. This is always the system that drives more license plates of different state backgrounds into our area. Once you see the first hard freeze across the country, you can welcome up Southwest Florida to everyone who snowbirds here, and it's like snowbird season officially begins.
I know. I had someone mention on my Facebook that they were coming down I think from Indiana on Tuesday. And I was like,
Fitting.
I was like, don't expect much because Tuesday is going to be the cold day.
It's not
I'm looking
cold
at
here,
Tallahassee.
but what, 25 there in in southern Ohio, 27 there in Chicago. Yeah.
It's cold.
I could see from
cold.
O'Hare to Indianapolis, all the way down through Louisville. Those airports, Columbus. I mean, it's like everyone's going to watch the Ohio State Purdue game this weekend, this Sunday, then hop on a plane and come back down here. It's like
I know.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed by Tallahassee's numbers. I mean, my brother's
49.
at FSU right now. I was like, Tuesday, even Monday more so for him too. They're going to be cold, below freezing in November. I don't know that ever happened during my 4 years. I don't know if we were below freezing a lot in January, but not so much in November if I recall.
I think this is the earliest, like I mentioned. I mean, 40s for here, we do get that. And you have to have a special case to get that cold, dense air to move right down the peninsula. But yes, that is some abruptly cold temperatures all the way down to the Gulf Coast, all the way there from Pensacola through Apalachicola through Panama City and Tallahassee. Great graphic there. I'm glad you showed that. I saw Matt had that the other day. I was like, whoa, yeah, definitely.
Chilly all throughout the United States. Can't escape it. So here's a look at Tuesday morning. I wanted to note this. I went back in some archives, and I believe March 7th was the last time we were in the 40s.
Yeah.
I think 48 was the temperature then. So this is the first time in nearly 250 days that we're going to be below 50 degrees in Fort Myers. I mean, that is so impressive. And I actually have a sneak peek at our Tuesday morning temperatures all around town.
Yeah,
we're seeing 40s. And I mean, that's not just chilly to me. That is cold. 41 in Arcadia, Babcock Ranch. I mean, that is very cold. That's nearing the 30s. I wouldn't even be surprised if some of us, especially our northern communities, possibly even dip into the 30s, especially maybe northern highlands, as well as in DeSoto County. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. The Euro has been very strong as it is throughout the entire time we've been watching this. And then something else I want to mention, the wind chill temperatures. And I mean, those temperatures on the left side, those are the actual temperatures, which are cold enough as it is. But when we factor in that breeze, more so going to be breezy on Monday, but even a little breeze on Tuesday as well. I mean, look at those temperatures on the right.
That's cold.
That's crazy. I need to get out my heated blanket.
Yeah, it's amazing how I feel like every single season we as meteorologists sit here and try and pick out what adjective is going to best work for television sometimes.
It's always cool.
And then when we have all the individuals from Ohio and Indiana and other snowbirds are here and they're like, that's a spring day in Chicago. My grandpa always said that. And we're like, no, but it's cold here. If you live here and the locals who live here, and we have a lot of us that watches us religiously, this is cold. And in fact, this is record cold.
Oh yeah,
we're talking, record cold temperatures on the way for Punta Gorda, possibly even close to that in Fort Myers. Naples, close to that as well. I think Naples record's like 47. Yeah, you have that graphic right there. You have 44 degrees, and that's what our models are saying. We're kind of going in between. I mean, Punta Gorda can drop into the low 40s, if not even the upper 30s. So I think we could crush that record low of 44 from 1943. I don't think we'll come close to the record in Fort Myers. We won't come close to 41, set back in 1956. But Naples, we might come close to that, 47, set back in 1993.
Woo.
And I mentioned that on TV. I mean, we break so many record highs throughout summertime, even throughout wintertime. December, we get a lot of record heat sometimes. But it's rare that we get these record cold mornings, and I'm all for it. And I had to convince myself that it is on the way. It's hard to believe that the 40s are here, but they are here Tuesday morning. Yes,
they're here, and it's also kind of funny. It's arriving on Veterans Day when a lot of people are going to be outside. I think we've got quite a few parades that happen. You know, it's a big day for outdoor activities.
And thankfully, I think a lot of parades are this weekend, too. I know we were covering that Saturday and Sunday, so at least the weather is warm for that.
That's
maybe
good,
a little too warm for some.
It's a little hot and steamy this weekend.
But yes, we've got quite the back and forth.
But yeah, I mean, if you're doing anything on Veterans Day, I know it's going to be cold. I'm going to need fuzzy socks when I come into work on Tuesday morning. I'm going to need my heated blanket. I'm going to need maybe earmuffs. I don't know. I'm going to have to pull it all out.
You probably need that in this studio all the time because our studio is always at like 68 degrees.
I know.
Day, Monday through Friday.
I know. I have my blanket on in here too, if anybody notices. So real quick, before kind of wrapping up here, but I really wanted to use this graphic to explain wind chill. Nikki used this a couple of days ago, but I do want to go over it one more time in case you're wondering. I think of wind chill kind of as like like how we determine our feels like temperatures in the summer is when we factor in the humidity with the dew points plus temperatures. That's how we get our feels like in the summer. This is kind of the same, but it's temperatures and wind speed. That's wind chill. So naturally our bodies release heat through convection. So with no wind, our bodies are kind of better able to warm us up. But when there's a breeze coming on, it kind of, that layer of heat is stripped away. So that is why that wind chill temperature is a little lower when it's more cool outside. Here's a look at a wind chill chart from the National Weather Service. So I circled some digits here. So for instance, if it's 40 degrees outside and the breeze is 20, then 20 miles per hour, then that feels like temperature is actually going to be 30 degrees. So it's going to feel much colder on your skin because that breeze is going to strip that layer of heat away from you. So, you know, wind chill temperatures can be very dangerous, not so much here in Southwest Florida, but as you can see at the very bottom, it has frostbite times for when those temperatures, those wind chill temperatures go into the negatives, more so in the Midwest, sometimes even the Northeast. So very interesting, and I like to mention this because we don't often talk about wind chill. We rarely ever do, never do in November especially. So it is definitely a possibility. Like we showed, those wind chill temperatures are going to be 5 or 6 degrees below what it's actually going to be outside. So on Tuesday, so pretty interesting. It's going to feel nice on Monday, I would say too. Wednesday, it's not going to warm up real quick. It's going to be a little nice on Wednesday, Thursday, but yeah, that's all we have for you today. If you have any closing thoughts, Zach?
Closing thoughts. I mean, there's a lot to track for the weekend. I know you have the latest coming up on Wink News at noon from the boating forecast, because I know you said you're going to head out there. You might be showing that off, as well as a closer look at what is in store next week. You know, enjoy it. I mean, this is the forecast that has the ups and downs, and it kind of checks everyone's box. If you like it warm, enjoy the weekend. If you like it cold, find some time and enjoy next week.
Oh yeah, there's something for everybody. Warm temperatures this weekend, cold temperatures next week if you want to get in the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back on Monday at 11 a.m. with Wink Tracks the Tropics with our awesome meteorologist here. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great Friday and an awesome weekend.
See you guys.
Bye.